Welcome to the True Crime Never Sleeps podcast. I'm your host, Larry Lees. Today we're diving into the 7 most famous crimes that changed the law forever. First, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex, for sponsoring this episode. Visit poddex.com and use the promo code Larry21 for 10% off your first purchase. So let's dive right in. Newspaper headlines are full of heart-wrenching crimes on a daily basis. Murder, abuse, rape, kidnapping, arson. A list of heinous acts is endless and discouraging. It can be depressing to turn on the news or even log into social media thanks to all the crime stories. But every once in a while, one of these crimes winds up becoming a force for good. Certain laws or procedures are often enacted thanks to a related incident, which helps to stop a similar offense from happening again. For example, did you know that the nationwide 911 distress hotline was created in response to an actual crime? Join us and discover some of the most famous crimes that help shape future laws forever. Starting off. At number 7, Adam Walsh and Code Adam. It was a crime that rocked the nation. On July 27, 1981, 6-year-old Adam Walsh was abducted from a Sears department store in Florida. Authorities recovered his severed head 16 days later. This event led to the creation of the Code Adam program, which helps children who are lost in stores or public places get reunited with their parents more quickly. If you hear Code Adam over a store's intercom, it means you should be on alert for a lost child or any suspicious activity. Code Adam was first used by Walmart in the 90s, and since 2003, the Code Adam Act requires all federal facilities to use it too. You may also recognize John Walsh, Adam's father, who helped get the law passed. He was the host of America's Most Wanted and helped bring the nation's most notorious criminals to justice. My bad. At number 6, Amber Hagerman and the Amber Alert. Not all child abductors strike in a public place. For more wide-range emergency systems involving missing children, there's the Amber Alert, which is also named after a real person. A 9-year-old girl named Amber Hagerman was kidnapped and murdered in 1996, and so far the killer has never been caught. Enter the Amber Alert. This far-reaching system broadcasts the news of a missing child via television, highway notification signs, and text messages, providing as much pertinent information as possible about the child and the suspect. In this instance, Amber has 2 meanings. It's both a tribute to the little girl who lost her life and an acronym that stands for America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response. The success of the Amber Alert system has led to similar programs such as the Civil Alert for missing senior citizens who may suffer from dementia or other mental disorders, and the Blue Alert, which aids police officers missing in the line of duty. At number 5, Kitty Genovese and 911. On March 13th, 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was stalked, stabbed, raped, and murdered. The New York Times reported that 37 people saw the incident, yet no one reported it, or they may have tried to contact police but never got through. To report an incident at the time, you'd have to dial 0 for the operator or the local police, and then the call would be transferred to a communications bureau before getting transferred again to a specific precinct. Finally, after all that, a police officer could get dispatched to check out a potential crime. But that all changed after Genovese's murder in 1967. A nationwide distress hotline replaced this method and 911 was born. The first 911 call was made in Haleyville, Alabama on February 16th, 1968. Number 4, Ernesto Miranda and Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. If you're a fan of crime shows or movies, you can probably recite this by now, but have you ever wondered where it came from? On March 2nd, 1963, an 18-year-old woman from Phoenix told police she had been abducted and raped in the desert. Police tracked down a car that matched her description and found a man who had a prior record as a peeping Tom, but nothing more. Ernesto Miranda was arrested in 1966 on suspicion of robbery, kidnapping, and rape. During the police interrogation, he confessed to committing the crimes. That conviction was eventually overturned due to intimidating police interrogation methods. Miranda rights were created to prevent this from happening in the future. By law, these rights must be clearly stated during any arrest in the United States. Number 3, Megan Kinka and Megan's Law. Megan's Law requires that information about registered sex offenders must be available to the public. That's because of what happened in 1994 when 7-year-old Megan was abducted from her driveway while riding her bike. Her body was recovered the next day in a nearby park. I can't even say this guy's name. Jesse, I'll just say T, lived across the street from Kinka and had 2 prior convictions for sexual assault. Though the family did not know that, Megan's parents lobbied for a new law which would inform citizens about sex offenders in the area. They argued that having access to that information could have saved their daughter's life. While there are some controversies about its use and proof of its effectiveness, Megan's Law has been in place since 1996. And number 2, Polly Klaas and the 3 Strikes Laws. 12-year-old Polly Klaas was kidnapped from a sleepover and murdered in 1993, and during the investigation, it was discovered that Polly's killer had committed multiple previous offenses. This led to the 3 Strikes Law in California, which states that defendants with 1 serious or violent felony conviction may have their sentence doubled for a second offense. Anyone with 2 prior convictions must automatically serve 25 years to life for a 3rd felony, no matter what the severity. There are many critics of 3 strikes, including members of Klaas' own family. The stipulations were eventually softened following a vote in 2013. And number 1, Johnny Gosch and child abduction cases. 12-year-old Johnny was kidnapped in 1982 while delivering newspapers near his home in Des Moines. Unfortunately, at that time, missing children were treated much like missing adults, with parents being forced to wait 24 hours to report the incident. In Iowa, parents were required to wait 72 hours, but investigators found that abducted children were usually harmed or killed within the first 3 to 4 hours. The case captivated the nation, and Johnny's parents devoted themselves to getting the laws changed. The Johnny Gosch bill, passed by Iowa legislature in 1984, it mandated that law enforcement begin investigating missing children cases immediately after they were reported. And that's all we have for this episode of the True Crime Never Sleeps podcast. Let us know your thoughts on these laws. Are you in support of them? Do you think they need to be made stronger? Let us know in the comment section below. And remember to give us a thumbs up if you like it. And hit that subscribe button, please. We're trying to reach 300 by the end of the year. We're getting 1 step closer to that 300 subscriber goal. So please do hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.